Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite cool tone and neutral liquid lipsticks, as well as a few glosses. Fall is my favorite time to wear these kind of shades, and I think that they can be harder to pull off sometimes just because they are so cool toned. It's very easy to look almost dead or lifeless. So I wanted to share some of my favorite ones that don't give that effect and some tips on how to wear them throughout the season. So please stay tuned. Okay, so the first liquid lipstick or cool tone lipstick I'm going to be talking about is one of the first lipsticks that I got that is a cool tone shade, and it is by Stila. It is the Stay All Day liquid lipstick in the shade Baci. And this one is just such a pretty cool, almost a neutral undertone. I think it pairs really nicely with a little bit of a warm tone eye. I think it really complements the look. It sets it apart from something that's really cool. So it just almost has like a little bit of life to it versus something that, you know, is just completely almost like a gray undertone. Just has a touch of rose in it, which really helps, I think, bring life into the lips and into the face. And I think that's also really important with a formula that can be drying like a liquid lipstick. So I definitely wanted to give a shout out to this one since this is like an OG one for me. And I think a lot of people have this one or there's dupes out there for it. So definitely love this one, Stila in the shade Baci. Okay, the next one I'm going to be talking about is one of the shades I'm wearing on my lips today. It is the Sephora collection, and it's this purpley cool tone liquid lipstick, and it's in the shade, it says the number 35. I'm sure there's another name for it, but I'm just going to stick with 35 today. I immediately was drawn to this color when Sephora launched all their liquid lipsticks, like when they came out and brought back a bunch of different colors in the collection. This is one of my favorite formulas. It's actually considered their cream lip stain. So it does have a little bit of moussiness, but not like a NYX liquid lipstick or like the NYX Lingerie's. It does have more of a dry down, but it's very comfortable on the lips. It's not drying at all. And it's very long lasting too for it being comfortable. So it's definitely one of my favorites. But it's also such a unique color. Every time I wear this shade, I always get compliments. People ask me what I'm wearing because it's wearable, and it almost looks like it's not wearable because of that purple tone. But as you can see, I have it like right here. It translates really nicely on the lips. So I definitely love this color. I have to mention it, and it is Sephora number 35 cream lip stain. So one of the things I like to do with that cream lip stain is pair Kat Von D's Requiem. This is a very light lilac shade. There's a lot of white in this one. It's almost like a more muted version of the last one I showed you. So what I love about this one is it's great for doing like an ombre lip like I kind of have right now. I have this one in the center, just the very center of my lips, with the other one on the outside. This one is Requiem by Kat Von D. I will say the negative about this formula for me personally is I do find it very drying. So if you're someone that doesn't like a drying liquid lipstick, you probably won't like this formula. But if that doesn't bother you and you just want it to stay all day long, then I think you would really like this formula. For the most part, I'm sure most everyone has tried it already. I do find that this particular shade doesn't wear the same as some of her other shades in this formula range. So just something to be aware of. I find this more drying. But it is a fun shade to kind of wear as an ombre lip or even on its own. It can be a little bit ghostly on its own, but if that's the look you're going for, it can definitely work like that too. I just thought it was such an interesting shade and I didn't have anything like it, and I just had to pick it up. Requiem, Kat Von D. Okay, so the next shades I'm going to be talking about are more nude and neutral with maybe a little bit of cool in them as well. The first one is actually too light for my skin tone, but I kind of wanted to give it an honorable mention because I do love the formula, and I'm sure there's people out there with different skin tones than myself, obviously, that are looking for like a very nude, pale liquid lippy. And this is Wet n Wild. It's their Catsuit liquid lipstick formula in the shade Nudie Patootie, and it is very pale. It almost has like a grayy undertone, but on myself it just looks too pale. But I think someone that has like fair, like porcelain, see-through skin or something, this would just be gorgeous on. Unfortunately, it just didn't look right on my skin tone, but I do really like this formula. So just another one to check out. Wet n Wild Mega Last Cat Suits, and this is in Nudie Patootie. All right, and the next shade I'm going to be talking about in formula is the Nyx Lingerie liquid lipsticks. These had such a big hype around them when they first came out. I feel like everyone was trying to get these. This was my favorite color of the range when I went to go swatch them, and this is in the shade Push Up. It's just a very beautiful neutral liquid lip that kind of goes with everything. You can't really go wrong if you have a cool toned eye or a warm toned eye. It really just works well with a lot of looks without being, and it has some pigment in it, but without being like too pigmented, like it's competing with an eye look. So I do really like this one. I have another formula that's different from that one, the Milani Adorable. And this is their Amore Matte Lip Creams, but they're very similar in color, depending on if you prefer one shade over the other. Not shade, I should say formula over the other, since they are a similar shade. This one's going to be a little bit more drying than the NYX Lingerie, where this one's going to be more moussey. So if you haven't tried these formulas, they're pretty similar in price, pretty similar in shade. It's just more about preference probably on which one you prefer as far as comfort on the lips or longevity. The next one is very new to my collection. It is Makeup Forever, and it's their liquid lipstick formula, and this is in the shade 105. I just think this is such a pretty shade. It's so unique from some of the other ones that I have. It's almost like a dusty, nudie rose, and it just looks really, really pretty on. I think this would pair really nicely with even like a cool tone eye look, without competing with it, because it has a little bit of that rose shade in it. So I wanted to mention this one. The formula I feel like is very similar to the Marc Jacobs liquid lipsticks, if anyone has tried those, and I do love that formula. So I would say it dries down a little bit more than the Marc Jacobs formula, which almost has more of like a little bit more of a moussey or like a cream finish. This one has a little more dry down, but both of them are very comfortable on the lips. So I definitely wanted to mention this one. I just have a little mini that I got from Sephora with my points, and I can see myself purchasing the full size, so I really love this. All right, and the next two I want to talk about are very similar to each other in color, like a lot of the ones I have here, but they are more on the brown side of cool tones. So the first one I'll talk about is the Colourpop Ultra Satin Lip, which is my favorite formula from Colourpop as far as their lippies, and this is in the shade Mess Around. Now, I got this in a boxy charm, which is awesome. I love that they give full-size products. For just $20, you get 5 full-size products. But this one, it's just a very pretty, universally flattering shade. So I really like this one. It's a little bit more edgier because it is that brown kind of tone, especially because I'm pale. I feel like it's so bold on. And this is one of those ones that can kind of go either way as far as like not trying to look like lifeless or dead on the skin, but because this has a little bit more of like a brown rather than that white undertone, I feel like it works really well for not having that like I'm dead look to it. And then the one that I found that's very similar that I have as far as shade goes is the Tattoo Junkie lip paint in the shade Minx. These ones are probably almost dupes for each other. I will say that the Colourpop one is a lot more comfortable on the lip. I don't like the smell of the Tattoo Junkie. This one just has like a paint smell to it a little bit, or like paint thinner, and it really is just such a turn off as far as scent goes. And then it's also way more drying on the lip. So if you're looking at the both of these thinking I like that shade a lot, I would say go for the Colourpop Ultra Satin Lip over the Tattoo Junkie. But if you like this formula and you want something that's easy to find at the drugstore, since I know Colourpop is not yet at Sephora, and who knows what they'll be bringing, but this would be a good alternative overall. I just prefer this formula personally. Okay, and the next ones I'm going to be talking about are more of like a gloss finish or a shine finish. The first one is the L'Oreal Paris. This is the Infallible Paints in the shade 310 Taupeless. I really, really love this shade, and I love this formula in general. I have a couple other colors from this line, but this one's almost like a purpley, brown, grayish kind of color, and I guess taupe as well, since that's why it's called Taupeless. But this one just wears so nicely on the lips, and it gives your lips a shine, which I think is nice, especially in the winter or fall time. So if you're trying to step away from something that is more drying on your lips, this one's a great alternative, and it's super affordable. It's under $10. You can usually get a coupon if you wait it out, or, you know, do the buy one, get one half off at Ulta. So I really, really like this formula and this shade. It's very, very flattering on. So this is L'Oreal 310 Taupeless. All right, and moving on from Taupeless, which is more of like an edgier kind of bad girl shade, I'm going more to like a sweet, innocent shade. This is Lorac Goddess, and I got this in a holiday kit last year, so I'm not sure if this one's still sold as a single or if they're going to bring it back, but I had to mention it just because it's so, so pretty. I love the Lorac Lip Gloss Alter Ego formula. They all smell like vanilla cupcakes, but they also bring such a nice shine to the lips without being sticky at all. So if you're someone who prefers a gloss that's not sticky, this is a great formula, but they're also super, super pigmented. This is like one swipe with pigment, and you're going to see the instant color payoff the second you put it on. They last fairly decently. I will say they're obviously going to transfer because they're not so sticky. They're not going to wear as long on your lips, but I don't mind reapplying, especially because every time you reapply, it's like a little, you know, birthday cake surprise. So I love this one. It's Lorac Alter Ego Lip Gloss, and this is in the shade Goddess. All right, and the last ones I'm going to talk about are very similar in shade again, so almost like a dupe. I will say they're both what's considered like high-end, as they're both sold at Sephora, but they do have different formulas, and I do prefer one over the other. But I wanted to mention these kind of like an honorable mention to you. The first one is Bite Beauty, and this is their Matte Cream Lip Crown and Glace, I think is how you say it. This one, every time I wear it, I get so many compliments. People ask me, what am I wearing? Especially when I'm at work. It's such a it's almost an unusual color that you don't see, but a very wearable color. So I love pairing this with a dose of colors, Marvelous Mauves, if you really want that kind of like matchy look, which I really don't like most of the time, but for whatever reason, it just looks so, so beautiful with that palette. So that's one of my favorite ways to wear it, but it definitely will go with most palettes or most colors, because it is like kind of more on the neutral, but has a slight cool shift to it. But I think this one's gorgeous. I love the formula. It's very comfortable on, and I'm sure everyone has mentioned this is food grade quality, so it's really nice, high quality ingredients, but also very comfortable on the lips. Bite Beauty, check them out. So another one that's very similar in shade to that one, which I think this one's considered like a cult favorite. I personally don't really care for this formula. I just find that it moves around on my lips a lot, and it doesn't really not just stay put, but you know, like whenever you're putting on lipstick and it doesn't really like cling to the inner part of your lip in the right way, this one kind of does that to me. It's almost kind of like gloppy. It's the Too Faced Melted formula in the shade Chihuahua. So you can see I've used it a few times, but I noticed when I was swatching some of my favorite formulas or my favorite colors together, I do really love this color. I just don't like the formula, which is why I never wore it. But I noticed next to this one, it looks very, very similar. So if you like this shade, and if you have any of the same complications I do, you may really enjoy the Bite Beauty one. This is just one that I got as like a 100-point perk from Sephora. I absolutely love this, and I've used this so many times, and you can see I still have like quite a bit of product. So I can't imagine running out of this anytime soon. But and this one I feel like I have to use so much product, squeezing it out and trying to get it to stay on one spot of my lip, and then it moves over. So definitely prefer this formula over the two, but both of them obviously have a beautiful shade. Alright, well that concludes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found the information helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!